Peppa Pig is one of the most entertaining cartoons of all time. But is making any sense one of the show's priorities? Because I don't think so.
Hello, everybody!
For example, in the Season 2 episode Captain Daddy Pig, we see the whole family going out for a fun day on a boat, and there's no bell on the mast of the ship. But magically, a bell appears, and Daddy Pig even asks Peppa to ring it. But wait a minute, Daddy Pig, there was no bell there. So, it looks like we're gonna have a good laugh discovering continuity errors in Peppa Pig's animation. Are you ready? Still in the same episode, you can see that there's no part at the back of the boat until, during a commotion where Daddy Pig needs to swim to the boat, a black cylinder appears. I guess it's for tying up the boat. In Season 2, in the episode The Dentist, Peppa and George are getting ready to brush their teeth, and in the background, we can see that the sink is full of water. But just a few seconds later, all the water disappears. Did it go down the drain? That might be the case, but in the same episode, a dentist chair suddenly appears in the scene. When Peppa and the family enter the room, we can see there aren't many pieces of furniture and George is close to his parents. But as we focus on George, we see a piece of furniture resembling a dentist chair behind him. In the episode Peppa's Circus, Grandpa Pig is setting up a striped tent in the backyard. When the kids notice and run over to see what's happening, before they start running, we see that Peppa is in front with Danny Dog. But when they get close to Grandpa, the order of the children completely changes. Next to Peppa is Susie Sheep. Of course, you could argue that Susie runs faster than Danny, but the confusion continues in the episode when the kids decide to set up a circus with things Grandpa Pig lends them. Emily Elephant finds some colorful balls for juggling, but suddenly during the performance, the performers switch the balls for eggs and potatoes. If you also notice this mistake, comment below with hashtag Peppa's Circus. In the episode Chloe's Puppet Show, Peppa and her family visit Daddy Pig's brother's family. When the kids run to their cousin Chloe's room, we see that there's nothing on the floor of the room. But as we get closer, a rug, glue, brushes, and a box of puppets magically appear. In the same episode, the animation confuses the background of Chloe's room. Observe the furniture arrangement, wall pictures, and the window next to the puppet theater in the wide shot. But when we look inside the puppet theater frame, it seems like the window is behind the picture. And then, when the shot widens again, it's back to the side. A curious fact about Peppa Pig that you've probably noticed is that the characters have names and surnames indicating their species. Peppa Pig, Danny Dog, and Emily Elephant are examples. But did you notice that Peppa's relatives don't have proper names? Daddy Pig is just Daddy Pig, and alongside him is Mummy Pig, Grandpa Pig, and Grandma Pig, as well as Uncle and Auntie Pig. Yet Chloe Pig, Peppa's cousin, isn't called cousin. The question remains, what should the real names of Peppa's other relatives be? In the episode Shake, Rattle, and Bang, Madame Gazelle is setting up a performance with instruments for the kids, and as they get on stage, the instruments Peppa, Susie, and Rebecca chose simply disappear. Well, it's unclear where they went, but they must have gone to the same place as the globe in the corner of the room when the parents come to pick up the kids. A curious detail that doesn't go unnoticed is that Mr. Bull is in the room with the parents, but he doesn't have a child. Or does he? Speaking of Mr. Bull, it seems he's not very lucky. In the episode Mr. Bull in a China Shop, where the pig family is driving and they encounter Mr. Bull digging up the road, the first continuity error occurs when we see George holding a toy tractor, but as they get out of the car, the toy disappears. Yes, we might conclude that George left the toy in the car, but it doesn't seem like something he would do. Now, the real error happens when Mr. Bull goes to Miss Rabbit's China Shop to fix a broken kettle. Observe the arrangement of the colorful vases near the counter. Now, notice how the vases change places, and Mr. Bull even bumps into a blue vase with a flower pattern. I don't know about you, but either these vases move by themselves, or maybe Miss Rabbit has some scheme to get customers to break the store's vases, which could earn her some extra cash at the end of the month. In the episode Grandpa Pig's Computer, Peppa and George bring a clock to Grandpa to fix in his workshop. If you pay close attention to the workshop scene, you'll notice there's a basket of tools on the back shelf. But this basket disappears in some frames where it should be in place. Now, we have some great news for you, a true fan of the world's most famous pink pig from animated cartoons. We're introducing a channel where you can find absolutely everything about Peppa, the pig family, and all their friends and relatives. Don't waste any time. Subscribe now using the link in the description or point your camera at the QR code on the screen and start playing. I'll be waiting for you there. Another thing that happens in this episode is that the power button on the computer changes sides even though the screen's axis remains the same in the scene. This isn't a mistake, but rather a strange curiosity. Peppa Pig is a British show set in a universe where animals act like humans, and so far, few humans have appeared on the show, such as the Queen of England and Santa Claus. A peculiar feature of the show is that some animals are of species that don't talk. In the episode Granny Pig's Chickens, Peppa and George spend time at Grandma Pig's house, and we discover that Grandma Pig has chickens and a rooster, but these animals don't talk and behave like ordinary animals. It's curious that this type of animal lacks intelligence in Peppa Pig's universe, especially since the rooster is a symbol of France, a country historically rivaled by Peppa Pig's country of origin, England. Another curiosity that almost no one notices is that in the episode The Eiffel Tower, when Peppa goes to Paris to visit the landmark, we don't see any talking roosters in France. Intentional or just a coincidence? Setting aside the intrigue, the truth is that Peppa is a show where only mammal animals are humanized and chickens are birds. In the episode Daddy Pig's Birthday, several errors occur, but here are the most interesting ones. In this episode, Daddy Pig goes to work on his birthday, and in the scene, he is next to a chalkboard with some calculations written in green, blue, and purple. But when the angle changes, the writing changes color to blue, red, and yellow. Further in the same episode, Mummy Pig is carrying 4 balloons for Daddy Pig's party, but when she hangs them on the tree, they become 6 balloons. Mr. Fox is a charming and cunning character in the show, often seen as a salesman or store owner. With his charismatic behavior and business skills, Mr. Fox frequently appears in situations where he needs to use his cleverness to solve problems or offer products to other characters. However, in the episode Grampy Rabbit in Space, Peppa's school class is visited by Grandpa Rabbit, who tells the story of when he went to the moon. That's when Freddy Fox, Mr. Fox's son, makes a joke about his father selling rocks in packs of 5.
My dad sells rocks in packs of 5.
Which can be interpreted as Mr. Fox selling things incorrectly. Mr. Potato is one of the most charismatic characters in Peppa Pig, and in one episode, he's putting on a special Christmas show. But it might be a magic show because the audience keeps changing. Notice that in the second to last row, there is a cat next to Freddy Fox. But when Pedro asks to go to the bathroom, the cat and the other character next to him disappear, leaving a gap between Freddy and Susie Sheep. When Pedro returns, they're back. Throughout the episode, this same cat keeps disappearing from the audience and even gives up his seat to another character but ends up returning depending on the angle. A disappearing cat? I've seen that in Wonderland. Have you? In an episode where Daddy Pig challenges Peppa and George to make jelly, you can see in the wide shot that there's no timer on the counter, yet it appears out of nowhere according to Daddy Pig's convenience. Peppa Pig is truly a wacky show, but it's definitely a lot of fun, and these errors make it even more amusing. What do you think? Do you like Peppa Pig? We've picked 2 more videos for you to watch, so see you in the next video!